Chapter 9 Shadows of the Past. Albus woke on Christmas morning to the unusual quiet of the Slytherin dormitory. A pang of homesickness hit him as he saw the small pile of presents at the foot of his bed. "Merry Christmas, Albus!" Scorpius' cheerful voice broke through his thoughts. The boys exchanged gifts, with Albus receiving a warm sweater from his parents and Scorpius marveling at rare magical books from his father. "Dad's letter feels different this time," Scorpius said, handing it to Albus. "More expressive. I think something big is happening." Albus agreed, recalling his own father's cryptic letter. "Mine too. It's like they're hiding something." At Christmas dinner, Albus noticed Professor McGonagall and Neville in serious conversation, their worried expressions making him uneasy. The great hall, despite its festive decorations, seemed to hold an undercurrent of tension. Later in the library, Rose burst in with the Daily Prophet. The headline caught their attention. "Dark Mark Rapier's Muggle Village Attacked." "That's Voldemort's sign," Albus said, inhaling sharply. "Someone seems to be rallying his followers again," Rose added grimly. "This is more than just a breakout." The trio agreed to intensify their Potter's patrol training. Over the next few weeks, they created magically animated dummies for dueling practice. Pushing themselves harder than ever, Albus received another letter from his father. "Son, you've probably heard about the recent events. Don't worry. We have the situation under control. But you need to be more careful. Don't leave Hogwarts. And if you notice anything suspicious, inform the teachers immediately. What you're doing, I'm proud of you. But don't do anything dangerous. You're still students. See you soon. Love, Dad." The letter left Albus feeling frustrated. They weren't little children anymore. They were ready to fight too. One night, Albus had a nightmare. He stood under a dark mark-filled sky, surrounded by masked figures. When he tried to raise his wand, his hand was empty. "You're not ready, Albus Potter," a cold voice hissed. "You'll never be like your father." Albus woke in a cold sweat, confiding his fears to Scorpius. "You're not Harry Potter's son, Albus," Scorpius reassured him. "You're just Albus. And that's enough." The next day, during potions class, a loud explosion rocked the castle. Professor McGonagall's amplified voice echoed, "All students return to your dormitories immediately. Teachers, assemble in the central hall." "This is not a drill." Albus and Scorpius exchanged determined looks. "Let's go," Albus said. "We need to summon Potter's patrol." They raced through the corridors, gathering other members as they went. The castle was in chaos, with students running in all directions and prefects trying to maintain order. In the room of requirement, Albus addressed the gathered members. "I think the moment we've been preparing for has arrived. This isn't practice anymore. If anyone's afraid, you can leave now. No one will blame you." A tense silence fell over the room. Albus could see fear in some eyes, but also determination. No one moved to leave. "We're in this together, Albus," Scorpius said, stepping up beside his friend. "Until the end." Rose nodded, her face set with resolve. "Our parents faced worse at our age. We can do this." Albus took a deep breath, feeling the weight of leadership on his shoulders. "All right. Let's assess the situation first. We'll divide into groups to guard the house entrances and protect younger students." As they cautiously left the room of requirement, distant sounds of battle reached their ears. The corridors were eerily empty, the usual bustle of school life replaced by an ominous silence broken only by distant shouts and explosion. Albus, Scorpius, and Rose moved towards the central hall, their wands at the ready. As they turned a corner, they nearly collided with a group of first years, huddled together and looking terrified. "It's okay," Albus said, trying to sound calming. "We're here to help. Rose, can you take them to the Gryffindor common room?" Rose nodded, leading the younger students away. Albus felt a pang of worry for his cousin, but pushed it aside. They all had jobs to do. As Albus and Scorpius approached the central hall, the sounds of battle grew louder. They paused at the entrance, exchanging a look of apprehension and determination. "Ready?" Albus asked, gripping his wand tightly. Scorpius nodded, his face pale but resolute. "Ready." They burst into the hall to find an astonishing scene. Teachers dueling unidentified attackers, spells flying in all directions. The air crackled with magical energy, and the walls bore scorch marks from misfired curses. Albus spotted Professor Longbottom locked in combat with a masked figure, while Headmistress McGonagall was simultaneously shielding injured students and firing off spells with remarkable speed. For a moment, Albus felt overwhelmed by the chaos, but then his training kicked in. He raised his wand, shouting "Expelliarmus" at an attacker who was advancing on a fallen teacher. The spell hit its mark, sending the attacker's wand flying. Scorpius followed up with a quick Petrificus Totalis, freezing the assailant in place. As they moved further into the fray, Albus felt a strange mix of fear and exhilaration. This was what they had been preparing for, and despite the danger, he felt ready. Across the hall, he saw other members of Potter's patrol joining the fight. They worked in pairs and trios, just as they had practiced, covering each other and targeting the attackers with well-coordinated spells. Suddenly, a jet of red light shot past Albus's ear, missing him by inches. He spun to see a tall, cloaked figure advancing on him, wand raised. "Well, well," a cold voice drawled from beneath the hood. "Harry Potter's son, I presume? Let's see if you live up to the family name." Albus felt a chill run down his spine, but he stood his ground. He was dimly aware of Scorpius moving to stand beside him, their shoulders touching in a gesture of solidarity. "I'm not my father," Albus said, surprised by the steadiness in his voice. "I'm Albus Severus Potter." With that, he raised his wand, ready to face whatever came next. He wasn't fighting to be a hero or to live up to his father's legacy. He was fighting for his friends, for Hogwarts, and for the future they all believed in. As spells began to fly from their wands, Albus knew that they were exactly where they needed to be. The children of heroes were becoming heroes themselves, forging their own legend in the face of a rising darkness. The battle that followed would test their skills, their courage, and their friendship in ways they had never imagined. But in that moment, as Albus stood side by side with Scorpius facing down a dangerous enemy, he felt a surge of confidence. Whatever the outcome, they would face it together. And that, Albus realized, was their true strength.